Do you know anyone whose visa was rejected before? If you know anyone, go and ask the person how it feels. No one is happy when his or her visa is rejected, especially after you must have struggled so hard. For instance, let me narrow it down to students who are planning to study abroad. After you have struggled very well to secure an admission, and then you have possibly paid your school fees, and then the school has sent you the offer letter and all the necessary documentations with which you will go to the embassy to apply for your visa. And then at the end of the day, this visa is rejected. I'm sure you will be psychologically down. So in this video, we're going to discuss certain mistakes that people make, certain mistakes that people don't even pay attention to while applying for their visa. So please, this video will be mainly for those who are going to study abroad, those whose intention is to travel outside their home country for studies, because this is where you will need visa application. So please, if you are intending to travel abroad, draw your chair closer. Let us discuss something that will help you, or if you know anyone that will benefit from this video, please do well to share it so that the person will benefit from it. The first one on the list is incomplete and incorrect documentation. For instance, when you are applying for your visa, you have to provide all the necessary documents that are required. For instance, if you don't provide your offer letter, that is admission letter, if you don't provide proof of fund that is consistent, if you forget to provide, for example, passport photo, all these things can lead to rejection. And as well, if you provide like mismatched information, like your information should be consistent across all the forms, ranging from your academic documents, your bank statements, and offer letter, and every other document that you may have. It should be the same information. There shouldn't be any disparity. You should make sure that every document has got the way your name is written in document A, that is how it should be written in document B and C. There should be this consistency across all the forms. This is number one. Number two that I have on the list is insufficient proof of fund. Some schools, sometimes you have scholarship, sometimes you don't have scholarship. So some schools will require that you pay your school fees and you can provide a proof that you can support yourself throughout the study period. So while you are going to the embassy, it is required that you come with a substantial financial proof that is showing your income across at least some years. Some people leave their accounts dormant, and then when it is about 1 or 2 months for the visa interview, they do something funny. They go and transfer millions into it. This is a very bad signal, because those of them at the consulate or at the embassy, when they see your account statement, they're going to check the consistency. They're going to check how the account is built across the years or months, as the case may be. So always try to prepare and have a strong financial proof that you will submit to the embassy when you are going for visa application. Very, very important. Then the next thing is errors in the application forms. For instance, little errors, sometimes some typographical error, sometimes one can forget to sign in a place where he or she should ordinarily sign. All these things, all these little mistakes can also send bad signals about the person. So you have to make sure that you proofread and you fill all the form very calmly. Don't be stressed while filling the form. Always try to make sure that you provide the right information and that everything you have put down, all of them is correct. You don't need to make mistakes. There shouldn't be any room for error. You have to make sure that you fill your form correctly and accurately. Then the next thing is inadequate preparation for the interview itself. You know, for instance, if you are going for visa interview, you have got admission, you've got offer letter, you have your financial proof and everything, and then it is time for you to go for the real interview. You have to prepare very, very well. This is where the main things happen, or where I would say the 60% of the whole thing happens now. Because this is where you are going to prove that you are actually going for studies. You have to discuss your study plans. You have to make sure that you tell them your study plan, the way the plan for your program. You have to talk about your financial status, your proof of fund. You have to prove it there. And then you have to let them know your plan for the future. That is postgraduate plan. That is to say, if after you have finished your program, what is the next step? Don't give them this impression that you want to remain in that country. I will always suggest, and this is a very, very important and vital information, when you are going abroad, even if you have the intention to remain in that very country, always do it in a way that you have a bigger picture. You have a bigger dream for yourself and for the society. Always tell them that you are going here for studies and you are going to acquire this knowledge to impact so people. Always tell them your plan for the future. You might even tell them that after that program, you might come back. You might come back if you get a better position. Why not? So you are going for studies, but it's not the more that you will remain there after your program. So you are going for studies, and then you have to discuss your postgraduate plans with them, because they must ask you, what is your plan after your education? Very, very important. And then another thing is this. Don't be nervous when you are going for interview. And as well, don't be overconfident. You know, virtue stands in the middle, says Aristotle. You have to always prepare. Be confident with yourself. You have to be bold. You have to be confident. You have to say things that are meaningful. If you are stressed, if you are afraid, you wouldn't convey your information correctly. But when you are relaxed, when you know that at least it's you, this is not another person, it's you, you've got this admission, and you are going now to study, then nothing will make you to panic. So always try to calm down, relax, and then practice ahead of time. Practice the things you are going to say. During the visa interview itself. It is very important. Remember what I said. Don't panic, but don't be too confident. Always be in the middle. The next on the list is forgetting some specific visa requirements. You know, every country has got its own visa requirements. So it's left for you to go to the embassy's website and then read what is required of you. This is very important, and it's very direct and simple. If you are going to America, you don't go and begin to read the Canadian visa requirements. You have to go to the embassy of the country where you are going, and then of course go to their portal and read what is required of you. This is very crucial. Then there is this mistake that some people make, you know, which leads me to the next point, which is an incorrect visa type. If you are going as a student, it is natural that you apply for student visa. If you are going as a student and then you apply for visitor's visa because it is easier to get, then you are cheating yourself, because you are going to get the wrong kind of visa. So always go for the right visa. If you are a visitor, apply for visitor's visa. If you are a student, apply for student visa. Then the next one is late application time. You know, it takes some months for you to scale through the whole process of visa application. During my own time, I remember I started in around October that year, and then I got my visa next year around February. So if you calculate very well, that is around 5 to 6 months. So if you wait until when it is about 1 or 2 months for you to submit your application, then you are not going to make it. It means you are going to, by the time you get your visa, studies must have resumed, and then you will not make it that very year. Always apply early enough. give yourself 6 months, at least 4, 5, 6 months, and then launching your application, because it takes time. You can't determine how long your application will take. So always give yourself good time and apply in good time. Then, of course, we know that if you provide forged documents, it is a no-go. So all your documents must be original, certified. They don't tolerate forged or fake documents. That is fraud. So you have to provide original documents, nothing less. You have to provide, all your documents must be original. Don't go for anything forged, ranging from your bank account, admission letter, everything. In fact, everything that you're going to come with to the embassy must be original. Then the last one I have here is ignoring language proficiency test. You know, currently things have changed a lot. Back in the years, this wasn't the case. But right now, most universities require that you provide English proficiency documentation. That means that if you are going for your visa interview, you have to also bear in mind that you have to have your documents with you. If you've taken TOEFL or IELTS, whichever, you have to go with the right document to prove, to prove that you speak English and you have met with the requirements. They might ask you, they might not ask you about it, but it's always good to be one step ahead of these people. If your program requires that you provide English proficiency, please do well to take the certificate with you to the embassy. Very, very important. These are the few things you need to consider in the process of visa application. So double check all your documents, make sure that there are no errors, provide consistent and powerful financial proof, prepare for the visa interview. This is where I say that don't be too jittery. Don't panic, but at the same time, don't be too confident. Always find a balance so that you do well. Apply early enough. Don't be the last minute person. Go on time. Apply on time. Then finally, follow the country's specific guidelines. That is where I say that if you are going to Canada, for instance, you have to go to the Embassy of Canada in their portal and at least read the requirements there. You don't go to another country's portal instead. So if you do all these things, I'm sure that you stand a very, very, very high chance of having your visa approved. Problem comes when you submit your application late, when you are not prepared for the interview itself, and then other little minor mistakes in the application form that you have filled. These are the things that hinder you from getting your visa approved. But if you work assiduously, knowing that this is a very, very important moment in your life and in your career, then you are going to do well, of course. Please, I hope you have at least benefited something from this video. If that is the case, do well to share it on your platforms. Let other people see it. Let other people at least watch the video. Maybe you are not traveling. Maybe you are traveling. But if you are not traveling, you might have a friend who is traveling and who may need this advice. So please do well to share this video, because I consider it very important. It will help a lot of people at least to get themselves prepared for the task ahead as far as visa application and interview is concerned. Thank you so much. I wish you a lovely day, and then I will see you on the next one. Thank you.